Now, in the last lecture, you made a list of questions that you're really going to answer later. And in this lecture, we're going to look at step 3 in the 7-step process, which is to choose or create a blog post to link back to. Now, this is the whole key to this strategy, so it's worth us taking a little bit of time to really understand this, and also to get you thinking about this before you get into actually answering questions. So you'll notice that I say here, create a blog post to link to. And one of the reasons that I say that is that personally I have found that in an answer, if at the end of it I link to a blog post that is related to what the question is about, that I'm getting much more people clicking through, and then I'm also getting much more people signing up to my mailing list. I have done it before where I've answered a question and then link them back to something like this, just a general landing page that's not specific to the question, but is still relevant. And I think if you can link it to a page on your website that is as close as possible and to the question being asked, then you have a much better chance of people clicking through. So that is the first point. Really, blog posts, in my experience, have converted better than just generic landing pages. Now, the other thing is, if you've already got a lot of blog posts created, this is going to be an easier process for you, because you just have to choose the ones, match them to really the questions that you have on your answer list, and really pick the most appropriate ones. Now, if you don't have even one blog post, not to worry, because now you have a list of 20 or 30 questions, and what you want to do is maybe identify 4 or 5 of those questions that are pretty similar. You create a blog post that will answer a lot of the points, and boom, you've got a whole new blog post. So those are a couple of points. Now, in terms of whether you're creating a new blog post, here's a couple of things to keep in mind. When you're posting an answer on Quora, you don't want to give all the details away. You want to provide enough value to get upvotes and views. So in my example here, I've put a great answer in here. I mean, this stands alone as a helpful piece of advice. However, I have left reasons for people to really click through. I haven't given away everything, and I've kept a reason for people to click through. And that's really the second point. You need to have an incentive for people to click through. You could have more actionable strategies, checklists, templates, downloads, etc. So you can see what I have done here is I've said, for more free tips and sample questions, check out the full post, and there's a link to it there. So you could say, here's 3 points, there's 4 points back on the website, here's 7 points in the post, there's the 3 bonus points back on the website. You need to think about, what is that incentive that I can get people to click through? So if you have posts already written that have checklists, templates, downloads, etc. as part of the post, well, then don't include those in your Quora answer. Those are ideal candidates for topics that you can write about, and you already have that reason then for people to click through. Now, the final point that you might want to set up in advance and consider is to set up an email capture form. If you want to collect email addresses, don't miss the opportunity to take advantage of that, because you can get visitors to your website, you can get the traffic, but if you want to capture their email address, you can then bring those same visitors back again and again to your website through your email marketing campaigns. So you can see here that I've got an email sign up form in the side box or the sidebar, and also then I have a little download that they can get here. They just pop in their email to get it. So I would consider that as well. Make sure you have an email capture form set up in advance if you want to take advantage of collecting their email address and bringing them back more than once. So to recap, consider these points before you start to choose or create the blog post to link back to. The key message is you need to have an incentive for people to click through. Now, take some time to think about that. Remember, look at the answer later questions you've already got. And then in the next lecture, I'm going to show you how to actually